Cause it's time to do over now. It's time for murder blues.
That was the sound of my booty cheeks clapping.
Tits
Yeah.
and titties. Tits and titties. Tits and titties.
Rod, I need to
Tits
ask you
and
something
titties.
important. This is very important.
Okay, shoot again.
Did you go on walkies today?
And the podcast is done forever, guys. Thanks for having it. We made it to episode 185, and Ken has finally pushed it over the edge. I was wondering when this shit show, like, circling drain of shit show fucking goddamn fucking shit, fuck, would die, and here we are.
You know, I wasn't going to do this. But if she's going to take a shot at you, I think it's fair game that we take a shot at her.
That's valid.
Go ahead.
Rod, did you know that Ken has not seen Candyman?
Oh, I'm not surprised by that.
She told me, she says, don't tell Rob this, but I've never seen that movie.
There are plenty of... Brian, you know how long I bothered her to see Psycho Gorman? Like a year and a half.
Oh yeah,
it was a really long time. And Ken, we are the Murder Moose podcast, and we're part of the Slash and Cast podcast network.
It's in the game. And thank you for telling me. I don't know why you felt the need to tell me. You're like, Ken, we're the Murder Moose podcast.
Because, Ken, you're my partner in crime, and since when I murder you for talking about walkies, I'm going to need evidence to support that I'm your friend, that, like, you just pushed me over the limit and you made me lose my goddamn mind, that, like, I need these pieces of evidence. I tried real hard and got real far.
That's valid.
In the end, it didn't even matter.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. But yes, welcome. We are the Murder Moose podcast, as previously stated. So for those of you that aren't named Ken and need to be told,
it's true.
I had that message was just for you.
I had to tell you guys, and Ken kind of knows about this. So, Josh has this Plex server where he puts movies on, and I was like, I'm gonna watch the First Omen today, and I got very confused very quickly. Because you'll kind of understand why, but then I gave this whole shit show more time than I should have. But this movie starts that was supposed to be the First Omen, and this black lady rides into the desert, and I was like, okay, that's like where Yo Baba Sigula, Yo Mama Devil Demon guy came from. But she goes into this thing, and she's all dressed up, and in desert garb, and then proceeds to put her titty over this like water source, and the water, and they show the nipple and everything, so you know it's her titty. She's not like urinating into the water, and then proceeds to shoot purple stuff into the water. And I was very confused, and I still don't know what this movie was. And then I proceed to watch 10 more minutes of this movie, and it's about these they're French people, but they're going to like Congo, where this guy is from, and like he's gonna marry her, and they're pregnant. And I got very confused because I'm like, how does this involve a nun? And I don't know what it is. I still don't know what it is. Do
you know what it is? It's to remind us of the good old days of LimeWire and BearShare.
Oh yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, the number of times I downloaded a movie that said it was Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, or whatever, and it was actually some fucked up bukkake video or some shit.
I mean, that sounds like you're judging.
No, I say that. It's not like I was really disappointed every time or anything. Because I mean, still at the end of the day, at least I'm watching that.
I really need to know what this French purple titty milk movie is, because I don't want to watch it.
Sorry.
I'm just gonna Google French purple titty milk movie.
Maybe it wasn't even French. I don't want to dedicate it to French because I watched a bunch of random movies this weekend, including Infested, yeah, which was French. Which is the spider movie.
Yeah.
They go crazy, and I guess that guy is going to be doing something else at an Evil Dead movie or something like that.
Yeah, he is. They just tapped him to direct another Evil Dead film. They've got 2 Evil Dead movies in the works right now.
Yeah, it very much felt like Arachnophobia. Like if you mixed Arachnophobia with like Evil Dead Rise or something like that.
Fuck yeah!
I really dug the movie. I thought it was really good. But like, it was very odd at points, but I enjoyed it. And then I also watched Arcadia, which I want to say, you lying motherfuckers. They selling this movie as a Nick Cage movie, and I'm not saying Nick Cage isn't in the movie, but he's like a supporting actor, basically as a father for these 2 kids. And I'm like, and it's the kid from it's the brother from the It movies, not the one who died.
Not Georgie, but the other one.
Yeah, Bill or whatever. And
Bill, correct.
Him and this other kid are like the brothers, and they both have these terrible mullet haircuts. And
he played the Nazi boy masturbating in the bathroom in Knives Out. Have you guys seen Knives Out? Please tell me.
It's been a while since I have, so I don't remember that.
That's literally what Daniel Craig says about him in that foghorn leghorn voice. The Nazi boy masturbating in the bathroom.
Oh, I remember what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay. But they both have these haircuts because Nicolas Cage has been cutting their hair for 15 years, and they're real terrible haircuts. But very much, I only want to say for that movie is that I did dig it. Very much kind of like Quiet Place and that kind of stuff. But the monsters of that movie look like, I want you to picture this. What would happen if a gorilla fucked an ostrich? And that's what the monsters look like.
What was it called again?
Arcadian.
Infested, or Arcadian, yeah. We're talking about
Arcadian.
Arcadian, yeah.
But yeah, the monsters look like a gorilla fucked an ostrich, and that was the outcome of this. And I went on the streak where I haven't gone on the streak, like watching random horror movies for like a long time now. And yeah, I forgot. There was another one I forgot to tell you guys I watched last week, or I forgot to tell you, Ken, called like Wish You Were, or like You Were Still Here or something. I forget what the fucking movie was called, but it was like this dude in a trailer park, and some chick knocks on his door in the middle of a storm, and then weird shit happens. But like, I can't even think of the name of the movie because the poster was weird and everything like that. I don't know. I've been watching random movies because my 2024, kind of thing. Also, I don't know if either one of you guys saw this. Fall Guys get open up this weekend, and then they were talking about, it made other people talk about how nothing horror-wise is opened worth of shit this year, and we're in May. And the number one opening box office weekend for any horror movie in 2024 was Night Swim at $11 million.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, Abigail bombed, Immaculate bombed, like all these movies like have bombed.
Yeah, they're not making a lot of money.
But
Abigail
a lot of that
is really good from what I hear, though.
It is.
I think a lot of that honestly comes from the fact that a lot of horror people, like, yeah, we want to go to theaters and we want to watch movies in theaters and everything, but a lot of us probably don't really want to, and we'd much rather just stay home. And because they're pushing things out and then taking, like, this movie, we'll get into budget with this movie. You know what? Screw it. Actually, we'll get into it later. But the whole thing being, like, we do better with streaming services sometimes.
I think that as a collective whole, I think you're right.
I guess what comes out on streaming tomorrow, Abigail, which has been out for like a month. Abigail's already on streaming services, and it's just like,
I'm so excited.
Well, dude, I wanted to see Boy Kills World not playing at the Alamo by me, and while they play movies like Alien and The Mummy, and I went and watched The Mummy. Don't get me wrong, but like I would have gone and watched Boy Kills World instead, and it's just like, we're playing Alien from 1979 instead of like movies that are there. Like, and it's just like,
well, I want to
maybe
see
when
Boy Kills World so bad. And then on top of another one that's happening is and I know that this will like hit some people in different ways, but The Crow, from what I heard, they're trying to do like the, celebratory. Yeah.
it's 30
Celebratory
years.
stream.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
30
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
Or the like in theater showings. And I don't know if it's roughly the same time as the Crow release or not, but I don't know. It just feels like theaters are doing a lot of like weird shit lately.
Well, I mean, we're in fucking May, right? And I don't think anything is like Fall Guys is a PG-13 rom-com action movie that should have made a boatload of money, and it just seems like theaters aren't doing great this year in general, right? Like,
Yeah.
No, they're not. The Crow came out in 1994 on May 11th. So 5 days from what we're recording right now would be
Right.
the actual 30th anniversary.
yeah.
And they did delay the new movie until August, I believe.
When was it supposed to come out?
Probably by now, I assume. I can't
Dude,
remember though.
I think that movie looks cool, but like, dude, like I don't know. It's a weird thing with movies like this year because we're in May. We only have one Marvel movie this year. That is Deadpool.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I'm fine
Yeah.
with that too. What I'm saying though is the theaters are weird right now, and I don't get like we have what's gonna blow up this year. Like we have the Planet of the Apes movie coming out.
That'll
here.
probably do. I would imagine that'll probably do all right.
I don't know how much Kong versus a Godzilla made.
It's done pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't like, but like, man, it is just. There's been some cool fucking movies coming out, and they haven't done shit, and you just go, and then. Obviously, we've had some terrible. I don't know if you guys saw how badly people are tearing Tarot apart. Tarot's not supposed to be very good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
It's the movie with the fat guy from the Spider-Man movies with Ned. I think
Ned. Yes.
Yeah, he's the only like semi-known actor in that movie, and so like that movie bombed real bad.
Godzilla Kong New Empire made $547 million so far globally.
So by far the biggest. That's got to be the biggest movie of the year.
It's got to be the biggest film this year so far.
Yeah,
it has to be. There's no possibility that it's not.
And I don't even think. I don't think Deadpool versus Wolverine tops that, right? Because Deadpool versus Wolverine is R-rated. I mean, it could make.
It will.
You think so?
Yeah. 100%.
I don't know. Maybe. Hopefully.
Why would it not?
Because
considering
it's
how much. But look how much money the first movies made. They made more than that.
Yeah, but also this movie is still out, and that will probably. It'll probably get.
Oh, yeah, but it's slowed down a lot, dude. It's slowed down a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's weird.
When does Deadpool Wolverine movie come out?
July.
July.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna make a shitload of money, man.
I know it's gonna make a shitload of money. I'm not arguing with that fact. I'm just.
It'll beat Godzilla and Kong 100%. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't.
I mean, I don't know what else is like for like what we come like big movies this year. There aren't that many like blockbuster feeling movies, right? Like
I'm just gonna throw this in there really quick just to squeeze in. I was looking this up while you guys were talking. As far as ticket sales and stuff for movie theaters, I just for my own desire to know, the drop off in 2020 was so astronomical, and it's starting to slowly come back. But 2019 before the drop was 1 billion.
Okay.
No.
It's gotta be more than that. 1 trillion.
No, 1 billion tickets sold. Sorry.
Okay.
Run. Let's
Oh,
see.
okay.
1,000. Yeah. So 1 billion tickets sold. And
the whole year.
The whole year.
Okay.
And then in 2020, it went down to 219 million.
I mean, that makes sense because most theaters shut down.
Because of COVID and everybody was closed down.
And shit, yeah.
But they're still not coming back. And this year, like, is projected to be higher than last year, and it's slowly increased, but it's nowhere near where it was in like even 95. Like we're not even We're not even close. So I think it's going to be really hard for people to continue to judge movies based on their box office growth or their box office gross. Sorry, because people aren't fucking going. Like they're just
that doesn't
not going.
You're absolutely right. Just because a movie doesn't make a lot of money these days that's not indicative of the quality of the film.
I mean,
by any means anymore.
But that's never been the case, though.
That is true, because if that was the case, Independence Day wouldn't have made so much fucking money.
I mean,
that
Independence Day
dog shit
wouldn't have made that much money. I mean, fucking Five Nights at Freddy's wouldn't have made $250 million last year. I mean,
I didn't hate that movie.
I didn't hate it either, but it didn't deserve to be.
It wasn't good.
Oh, that was a great example right there. I just said Shawshank Redemption. Yeah. That's one of the best films ever made. That movie flopped hard.
Dude, Shawshank. We talk about fucking. Let's just go back to Abigail, which should have made fucking like double what it made, and it hasn't. And that movie's fucking a ton of fun. And like fucking, we talked about Immaculate last week, Brian, and like Immaculate was fucking fantastic. I was talking about
heard good things. Yeah,
I was talking to a guy today about it in my Katie's stream, and he didn't like the ending, which I understand. That's fine, but like Ken and I both loved it, and it's just like that movie made no money, and it's just like
none.
Sydney Sweetie's
from what I hear, the First Omen's actually good too, and that's not doing very well.
I mean, not when it's the woman pushing out purple breast.
The purple titty milk.
Purple titty milk was not victorious. I don't know, man. It's weird because it feels like we talked about it a lot. Like not in 2022. 2022 had fucking bonkers horror movies. Like we had Barbarian and shit like that. Like it was such a good year for horror movies, and it's like, and so people are dumping all this money into horror, and then 2023 comes around and we have like, you know, not as good, but we still have good movies, and it's just like the best movie that came out in 2023 was like Talk to Me, which came out in like February or whatever it was. It was real early in the year, and it's just like
that was a good movie.
Yeah, I really like Talk to Me. But like now, like I don't know, man. It's just Hollywood is this weird thing where like at the writer's strike last year, and then the actor strike that went along with it, that fucked up everything. All that stuff made it real hard, and then like we have, I don't know. It's just weird because we live in a world where entertainment is in a real weird spot where COVID set up these weird expectations, like. And it's the same with video games. If you know anything about video games, the video game world is fucking whack right now because unlike movie theaters, video games kind of skyrocketed in 2020 because people couldn't leave their fucking houses, right? And so these insane capitalistic fucking companies were like, we're going to make infinite upward progress, like profit, and have done all this shit. In the last couple of years, it's just been biting them in the ass. They've been firing people while keeping CEOs. I don't want to get started on that, but it's just like this weird thing. And Hollywood isn't that. I don't think it's in that spot, but I think COVID fucked it up so badly that it kind of jacked up what the movie experience is now. And I mean, you guys know it. Like you get these new movies coming out, and it's like only in theaters, like which was never they would say only in theaters, but now it's way much more of an emphasis when these movies don't like. Or just in movie theaters.
Mean, like for me, because there's no movie theaters near here, like if it's only in theaters, then I'm just like fucked. And I mean, I know that, outlier, like I'm kind of more of an outlier in that case, right? But like just let us have them on streaming.
You live in Letterkenny.
I do.
You know what? Okay, I'm gonna use that you living in BFE as an example of this. Guess what? I mean, and then I already referenced this movie. Five Nights at Freddy's came out last year and made $250 million plus, and still was on streaming services day one. So like, it's not like you can't have success. I mean, we've had plenty of things like the Halloween movies, like Halloween.
Yeah, the Halloween movies still did. A lot of people obviously bitch about their quality, but both the Kills and Ends movies did really pretty damn well considering they both released on Peacock the same night as the theater.
Yep. Exactly. So, and it's just like I don't think that, like, I don't know.
Now with that being said though, let's take we do have to mention a fair thing. Those movies aren't expensive. So, could you do that with a movie that costs $230 million to make?
I mean, you go back and we're going to go dive into Disney, because Disney and their infinite wisdom, aka their fucking shareholding cocksuckers, that like decided that Kevin Feige wasn't doing enough and he needed to amp up his a billion fucking shows and TVs and movies, ultimately dipping in quality. And then they're putting these $200 million TV shows with 6 episodes on Disney Plus. They're not making their money back for that shit. And so, yeah, you're right. And it's that thing where I don't think the movie theater should be taken out of the process. Obviously, I'd prefer to see most of these things in the theater. But like, I don't know. I think that like the ultimate like market of like just pirating these things also just kills the market for like people paying for these movies. Also, I mean I paid for a couple of movies back in 2020 times while this shit was happening, but like I don't know, man. It's all fucking whacked, and these companies are doing shit that like they put them on streaming services like I just mentioned Abigail, like the next month, and people are like, okay, I'm just gonna wait, because you know how much movie tickets cost, and you know how much food in the theater costs, and you bring in like if you fuck like rabbits and have 18 cum pets, you're gonna need to like it's gonna
Jesus Christ. Totally insensitive way to describe children.
They're sex trophies.
If you're
whatever.
shitting out all these little motherfucking
are they not cum pets because you cum and then you have to raise them like a pet?
Pet them? Like you pat them on the head?
I mean, if you're a good parent,
child.
Good.
If you're a good parent.
Good cum pet. Good cum pet. Oh, you're such
I thought I was a horrible father for calling my oldest son a dildo one time when he was like 13 years old.
I want to know. I want you to.
I'm so glad I never looked at him and said, "You fucking cum pet."
You should have. Also, I want to remind you, I had a vasectomy, so I will never have children. So there you go. I mean, I don't know. I've been the things
I had one too, but it's just 5 kids too late, 4 kids too late.
Guess how many I have?
Kids I got.
You are the example from the beginning of Idiocracy, Brian. Oh, you're gonna do 6 kids later. Okay.
Man, one of those kids is getting married at the end of this month. Man,
Brian is 87 years old.
I know.
Brian is the oldest man around.
This fucking.
Guess what? I will. I'm gonna be happy about not having cum pets until like I get stuck in a nursing home, and I'm like, none of
my cum pets are coming to visit me. Yeah, it's don't say that, because I'm gonna hope it happens. Because what's gonna happen is when you're fucking 93 years old, you're sitting and you're laying in your fucking bed. What's gonna happen is like 187 fucking stained socks are gonna walk into your fucking room. Because that's where all of your.
Let's be fair. I don't come in socks. Why would you come in a sock? You could come in anything else. Why would you come in a sock?
Wadded up Kleenex.
There you go. And I throw those away, and then they're gonna come up and walk
at me. A series of towels. We'll just
we are the cum socks. We've come to remind you of your deeds. We are the cum socks. I don't even know what the fuck is going on. Okay, let's talk about Lisa Frankenstein. Unless anybody wants to talk about anything else, because I've hijacked this whole beginning of this podcast. But
no, it's fine.
I want to talk about what kind of socks people are coming into these days. Like, socks are not cheap anymore.
Especially mine, because my sock game is like always on point. All my socks always have fucking.
I'm usually wearing my Under Armour ankle socks because I get them at the outlet mall. But like, I'm all about my running socks, and those shits are expensive. Like, I don't come in socks because I don't have the equipment. But
you could, Ken. Don't you
think
about it? Don't you think about it?
You can squirt.
You can squirt.
Very true.
You could squirt in socks if you believe, Ken. You could squirt in socks if you believe. So I want you to believe and squirt in the socks. I believe I can squirt. Spread my legs and soak the wall. I don't know what the fuck is happening today, but we are here.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
This is kind of why I love coming.
I mean,
I love,
we know,
I
Brian.
love being on this podcast with you guys because you never really know exactly where we're going to end up. But the journey getting there is always a fucking blast.
It's about Narnia is where we're going to end up.
We're going to end up in a closet filled with cum socks, and then here we are.
That's our version of Narnia. It's just it's a whole village of cum
all of
socks.
Rod's little cum pets are just.
I'm not the one with 5 cum pets, Brian. That's you. That's you. That's the one who doesn't do. I mean, who has a breeding fetish? Not me. Not you. You're the one.
It's not that I had a breeding fetish. I just really liked the process.
I mean,
and apparently I was pretty good at it.
no one likes to come in a condom, so I understand that. So it makes sense. Okay, you motherfuckers. Let's talk about Lisa Frankenstein as we're 25 minutes in. Lisa Frankenstein, starring I want to ask you both before we really dive into this movie. Why was Johnny Depp from Sweeney Todd in this movie? Like, or the most like Sweeney Todd looking clone of Johnny Depp that they could find that was in this movie? I was.
Are you talking about Cole Sprouse's character?
I mean, I'm talking about the I don't know what the fuck his name is. I mean, his name.
He's called.
That was Cole Sprouse. He's credited as the creature.
Yeah.
Who's Cole Sprouse?
His name is Cole Sprouse.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
he's
I got
one
that
of the
much.
twins.
He was in
a
Riverdale.
Disney. Yeah, he was in Riverdale. He's one of the twins, one of the Disney twins from Sweet Life and Zack and Cody.
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
He's got a twin brother named Dylan.
Yeah.
I think it's Dylan anyway.
Or Dylan.
They hung out with us at the party.
He was in Big Daddy.
Yeah,
he was in Big Daddy. He was the one that he said he can wipe his own ass. He could wipe his own ass.
Is he the main little kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and his brother, I think, both played.
They rotated. Yeah.
They rotated. Okay, I just wanted to
like
know
they
why...
did with the Olsen twins in Full House. They rotated.
Correct.
You know, where was anyone like celebrating when they could fuck those kids legally? Huh? Where's the sexism in America now? They were like fucking like
wait for which kids?
What is happening right now?
Because both the sets of these twins were celebrated when they turned 18. The boys and the girls.
The boys did. Oh, that's what I was.
They're fucking hot.
Yeah, they're very handsome. They're very good-looking young guys. Yeah.
I never saw people having T-shirts like the kid in Cabin Fever, like announcing the date that the Olsen twins were.
Well, that's because I think a certain demographic is probably a little more classy about their thirst for something.
Yeah, like most, not all, especially after some of the shit that's come out in the last month. But yeah, like we're not running around being like, ooh, little boys.
Are you sure? Are you sure? I mean, I've heard all the women talking about the lead singer of Bad Omens. I mean, I don't know.
Whoa, what's going on with lead singer Bad Omens?
The thirsty ladies are the baddies are very.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like we're very thirsty. Like, don't get me wrong, but like we're not the ones who are like we're not running around being like, oh my god, I can't wait for this underage boy to turn 18 so we could all lust after him legally.
Mean, like. So as we live in a world where Drake is getting called out for fucking underage girls, and
that's why I'm saying like I can't really say much because there was recently a woman who was arrested for, she was a teacher and she had been engaging in sexual acts with her students, her middle school students, utilizing things like Roblox to communicate, Snapchat. Sending naked photos of herself and then also physical interactions with these children, young boys, and she is now pregnant. And she is now pregnant by one of the children. But so that's why I'm saying, like, I can't be like, oh, women never do that because they absolutely do. But I mean, the Sprouse boys they're very cute and they're very nice. Yeah. They hung out with us at the Twitch booth one year. So
did you really?
Oh, that's very cool.
You hung out.
We taught them. We taught them how to play PUBG, and they left me with them, and I was like, I don't know how to talk to you. Like,
how old is it? Are these two?
They are 31.
They
were born in 92. Well, 32.
What year did
92.
What year did Big Daddy come out?
I don't know, like 90 or early 2000s, something.
I just had it.
I don't know. I'm very confused.
They were only like maybe 9.
All
he was
know,
also the Sprouse Boys also played they played Ross's son in Friends.
That doesn't surprise me. You know that, Brian.
They were 7.
It shouldn't. I've
Big
seen
Daddy.
every Friends episode probably 30 times because I fucking love that show.
I've watched about probably 20 episodes of Friends. I think I don't.
You and I are gonna spend a day together, and we're just gonna fucking.
We're gonna fuck.
I think we should get together in person, get high, eat a bunch of junk food, and watch Friends.
Okay,
fuck yeah.
I'm down with that. Just not legally because I have a job. But.
Is it not legal there?
No, it's legal here. I mean, Colorado's the first legal state. My
job. I was gonna say, what the fuck?
My job were not allowed because of the government. So yeah, this is what I was.
Oh yeah, you got one of them fucking stupid jobs.
I send stuff in space, so they want me to be sober or something. I don't know what the fuck it is. I just laughed as soon as like because the zombie character in this film, which starts off as like he looks like a slasher movie like thing with a bag over his head, which was also very weird. But like turns into he looked exactly like Johnny Depp in Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what the fuck? Even the haircut, and I'm like, yeah, he turned into a very good looking dude. But I want to say, is this okay? This movie, if it was the reverse, if it was a boy with a female, would have been considered toxic, I feel like.
Okay, so yes, and there's that movie that Jennifer Lawrence did recently.
Yes.
That movie would have never come out had the roles been reversed.
Exactly.
Really quick, I don't know if did we do the synopsis of the movie
No,
yet?
we didn't.
No.
Go ahead.
Okay, a coming of rage story about a teenager and her crush who happens to be a corpse. After a set of horrific circumstances bring him back to life, the two embark on a journey to find love, happiness, and a few missing body parts.
Very well spoken.
Thank you.
I did not expect a lot of things in this movie, including a tanning bed that would heal.
I love it so much. Cool. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you don't have to say sorry, Ken. You are allowed to talk on this podcast. You were part of this podcast.
I fucking love this movie. Okay. I love this soundtrack. I love this movie. It's so good. I immediately put it on Spotify. I found the soundtrack on Spotify and was like, yes, this is my life now. And it's so well balanced. Oh, it's so good. I love this movie. I know that a lot of people probably find it cringy. I don't give a fuck. Okay. It's great.
Not cringy. Not cringy. My only issue with this film, and I'll say this right up front, is that the relationship they kind of weirdly glorify the weird relationship that includes murder to get away with stuff, which is the weird that it was something.
Hey, hold on. Don't
let's pretend for a second.
Don't be that person.
Yeah, let's pretend for a second that these people that did get taken out were quality human beings.
No, they're not.
Because they fucking weren't. Okay?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they weren't, because I completely agree. But there was something off about when the second guy, he was a little rapey was the word that's not really rapey.
He was trying to sexually assault her.
Yeah,
100%.
He did.
Yeah,
he felled her up.
Yes, he did. He did.
And he forced her to touch his cock.
Garbage human being. No. The third guy who got his cock cut off did nothing wrong besides bang a hot cheerleader. Let's be real. He banged the hot cheerleader and got his dick cut off.
But he had a missing component. Okay, it's okay. Listen, here's the thing. I've got people constantly lately. Sorry, I'm about to go on a tirade. There's people constantly lately that are like, I don't like this because this would never happen and blah blah blah. I'm not saying that's what you're doing. This is a movie. And you cannot take it as factual. There are a lot of really good comments on Reddit, though, about some personality shift stuff, which we can get into later. But don't be that person, Rod.
Believe me, I'm the one running around calling children cum pads. I'm very not very selective on this. And that was the thing. And then Ollie was pointing out there was this weird thing that I can't completely put my finger on between the relationship with her and the zombie boy thing. That like when the murders start happening, and the same thing that kind of happens in Sweeney Todd. We go back to Sweeney Todd, where you're just like, this is not a healthy relationship.
No, it's not.
And that doesn't mean that I don't like the movie, because I really dug this movie and I thought it was good. I thought it was funny. I thought a lot of the shit was really well done. I thought most of the movie was really well done. I think I saw people referring to, what's her name, the main character. What's the actress's name?
Catherine. What?
Catherine Newton.
Yeah. Who was in Abigail and was awesome in that movie, and obviously she was in
Freaky.
She was also in Freaky, and she was also in Ant-Man and Quantumanium, as played the daughter for that movie. She replaced.
Yeah, what's Ant-Man?
What the fuck is that?
Shut up, Brian. Shut up, Brian. So all this shit, I've seen people referring to her as a scream queen, and then like leaving Mia Goth out, which made me laugh, because Mia Goth is
scream queen all day long. Holy fuck!
We got Maxine coming out this year.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fucking awesome. But like, I think that this movie does a lot that really, really well. I like it takes the Frankenstein thing and takes it like and modifies it in an interesting way. I think that I don't know, like, I think that I keep referring to it like Sweeney Todd is a perfect example for a lot of the things in this, because of the murder that turns into something else because of everything else that happens in this movie. Just in a much lower incidence, because this movie only has 3 kills. It's the
no, there's more than that, because I thought there were only 3 as well, but the cop is killed as well.
Oh, yeah,
and then the old man, I don't know if he's killed or just knocked unconscious.
How is the cop
there's
killed?
Either 4 or 5.
The cop picks her up and tosses her into the grave.
But she's not. She wouldn't be dead.
I mean, she might be.
Okay, even if you consider the cop, and then like he punches the old dude out, who kind of deserved it, but like, I don't know. It's not like it's a super violent movie or anything like that, right? And I want to say, we're going to talk about people who deserve to be murdered in this movie. The fat girlfriend or fat wannabe girlfriend that fucking date rape drugs her like 10 minutes in.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised she wasn't killed, to be honest.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, but she didn't have anything to offer the creature.
Yeah, that's true.
So, because he already had taken an ear at that point. That would have been, and then he had already taken a hand. All he needed was a willy.
I mean,
I guess in a way, she does still kind of lose out, because she's never going to bang that guy. Because it's clearly what she wanted.
I mean, they almost sold her as the girlfriend in the beginning of the movie. Like, and I'm also the dude whose dick got cut off looked like he was about 35.
He was 35.
Ken, how old was that guy? Because that's my next question in this equation. Because
I'm looking now.
Oh, you got it.
He was one of those things where like you're like a high school actor that looks like he's 25. That dude looked like he was 35. He didn't even look like he was 25.
Oh my god, he's close.
How old is he?
I can't find him.
He's 26.
Oh yeah, I see it now.
He'll be 26 this November. So
yeah,
he's not 35, but he's almost 30.
Jesus Christ, dude. I'm just like that dude. I'm like,
he's cute. He's very, very cute.
He is really handsome. Cole Sprouse is older than him.
If I'm gonna bang one of the guys in the movie, I'd rather bang the corpse from whatever. But like, I don't know. Then I would just be like, I'm Scuba Steve. I'm Scuba Steve. I'm Scuba.
Well, I was just gonna say I saw something that made me laugh. That Cole Sprouse has now played Frankenstein's monster and Frankenstein in Big Daddy. Because the little boy wanted to be called Frankenstein.
He did. He wanted to be called Frankenstein.
I haven't seen Big Daddy in probably 20 years, and I really do enjoy that movie. Like that was like the golden age of Adam Sandler movies, and that was probably the
that was bright. That was about near the end of his really good run of real good shit. I mean, he's done some really good shit, like Uncut Gems was fucking amazing, obviously. But
I still have never watched that movie because I'm like, I don't want
so
I don't want the stress and the tomfoolery of that movie.
So fucking good.
I'm like,
so fucking good.
I know nothing is gonna work out in this movie, and that Adam Sandler is gonna get screwed over, and that everyone's gonna end up not happy, and that's pretty much what it sounded like that movie was. So
it's really good.
Yeah, I this is the thing, man. If I'm gonna watch like reoccurring over the 3+ years of this movie, the movie that I've talked about multiple times, or like a movie that's just like stressed me the fuck out. Actually, probably the movie that stressed me out the most while watching it for the podcast was called A Good Woman Is Hard to Find, which was I Shudder.
I still haven't watched that.
Yeah, a Shudder exclusive movie that was way more like thriller than like horror, but like it was, and it is one of those movies that was like the second it started was like you're just like and then goes for 90 minutes and you're like the entire time, and like I enjoy the experience, and it's obviously memorable because that was like a pretty early movie on this podcast that we talked about. It's just like, man, you get that kind of movie where that I feel like I'm gonna have a fucking heart attack while I'm watching. Oh, Brian, on a side note, I saw this today that Ric Flair admitted that in that last match he had last year, he had a heart attack. And just
Jesus
like the dude was like 70 something and having a wrestling match. I'm like, you dumb motherfucker.
He looked like he might have had something going on. He was carried aggressively throughout that whole match. Luckily, he was with 3 really good wrestlers, because Jay Lethal and Andrade and Double J are all really good still in the ring.
Yep. Yeah.
Ric Flair is not.
Nope, hasn't been good for a long time because he's
been old.
A long time. Ken, I want to know. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I was going to say there's a couple things I wanted to touch on. First of all, budget-wise, the movie had a budget of $13 million. Box office only brought in $9.9 million, which goes back to our conversation previously. It is listed as a flop across the board. Which is pretty depressing. But I wanted to ask you guys about the opening sequence, because my personal opinion was it was fabulous. I loved the storytelling as far as the like cartoon cutout type.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Super cool.
It reminded me of the animated sequences from those last couple of Harry Potter movies or whatever. Was it the last one?
Yeah.
That's what it kind of reminded me of. But like they refer to that movie. I fucking forget what it was, but like, remember? Did you guys watch Hugo?
I've seen it once, but it's been a very long time.
But the moon thing with the fucking bullet going into it and all that shit, like that movie from the 1920s is obviously the inspiration.
Oh, yeah.
Which goes into even like Futurama, like when in the second episode of Futurama they go to the moon and the moon mascot's got like a bullet in it and all like the same shit. It's a pretty iconic thing that like, but not many people have watched the actual fucking movie that inspired it, and that inspired a lot of stuff in this film. I mean, she had the poster of it in her room, and like
she mentions the director's name in the movie too.
Yeah.
Which I can't remember what it was.
Speaking of directors, this is a little disjointed conversation, but the director was Robin Williams' daughter, Zelda Williams.
I didn't know
there are little pokes and prods and things about her father hidden throughout the movie that are really cute.
And wasn't it written by the chick who did
Juno? Yeah.
And
Diablo
Body?
Cody.
Yeah.
Who wrote Jennifer's Body. Correct.
Yeah. Which is we talked about like movies not making money, jack shit at the box office, and Jennifer's Body will forever be one of those movies that got shit on so badly by the studio because they marketed that movie. That is one of the worst marketing blunder campaigns of all time, where they were like trying to market it to horny teenage boys instead of like the empowering teenage girls, which they should have, which was what the whole point of that fucking movie. But it's funny because like I don't like Juno was pretty relevant when it came out, but like that movie feels like it's dropped off in cultural relevance ever since. And then I mean with Ethan Page being Ethan Page now and all that shit, I think that movie will even more be forgotten in the winds of time. But like,
probably,
I think Jennifer's Body will stay way more will end up being way more culturally relevant in 20 years than Juno. And again,
it's already
yeah
being recognized as kind of an overlooked anthem of well, I don't know the best way to
female
put it,
power,
female empowerment kind of thing. Yeah. It's such a fucking good movie. I love Jennifer's Body the second I fucking watched it when it came out. I love it.
I didn't see it in theaters because like it was one of those things where I was like, I don't know what the fuck was going on. And like by the time it got out of theaters and people kind of started going, hey, this movie was really good, it was like too late for that. But like, yeah, it's one of those movies that like she's written some fucking really good scripts, and I feel like this is another really good script. I think that like I think like I was talking about earlier, I think there are, for me personally, tone whiplashes with it, and that's a lot of I think the horror comedy stuff is a little weird on the comedy side of things for me personally, but like I really did enjoy it anyways. And I just think that like I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with fucking horror movies this year. I don't know what's like going on with the cinema. Like, Ken, you just talking about how like we're on track to like make less money at the box office than last year, but like it's like I feel like it's that weird thing where like if you don't have like 7 Marvel movies coming out, like what the fuck is going on? And like I think the writer strikes and shit like that shut down a lot of last year, but like
let's talk about it. It's a good conversation because it's interesting because Fall Guy just opened.
Yeah.
All right. That was I mean, we're talking about a movie with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt in it. 2 of Hollywood's biggest superstars. Ryan Gosling obviously was just in Barbie, and he just had the performance of a fucking millennium on.
I just had a conversation about him the other day because like he pops up. He does like 2 or 3, maybe 4 movies where he's a massive heartthrob. You fall in love with him. Even when he's playing somewhat of a dick, you're like, oh my God, he's the best. And then he disappears for like 5 or 6 years. And then he pops back up everywhere.
Yeah.
And then he disappears.
Yeah. But he's, I don't know. It's just really weird because this movie, the Fall Guy movie, obviously it underperformed really badly. They had modest predictions for it, and they were like modestly thinking that it was going to hopefully make $30 million, and it only made $28 million. And
it's PG-13.
It's going to lose money.
Yeah.
With 2 of the biggest stars in Hollywood in it.
Yep.
So, what exactly is the problem then? Is it people weren't interested in the Fall Guy IP because it is based on a silly 80s action show with Lee Majors. I loved it when I was a kid.
I'd never even heard of it.
When I was a kid, you guys weren't even fucking sperm. So but it is a show that I grew up on. It was very popular, like along the lines of it's very much cut from the same.
I really liked the Brady Bunch when I was a small kid.
So, but it's cut from the same cloth as like the A-Team, MacGyver, Airwolf,
dude,
Knight Rider, shit like that.
Speaking of under fucking appreciated films, that A-Team remake was fucking great, along with the with Quentin Rampage Jackson on it, and that fucking movie didn't get the credit it got for being as good as it was, by the way. But that's a side point. But
I think it's better than what people give it credit for, but I actually don't think the A-Team movie was very good. It didn't capture the feel of the show at all. But that's fine. I mean, they wanted to do their own thing. They wanted to make a straightforward action movie. But I don't know. I don't know. Now, with that being said, the Fall Guy film has been reviewed quite well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as far as critically anyway. I don't know what the audience thinks of it. There's not many people to ask because nobody fucking went and saw it. So, But yeah, what could possibly be going on right now that is keeping people from going and spending money in the movie theaters?
I think a lot of it is that we're burnout. We don't have those places anymore that they're called third homes, I guess is what or third places, because you have, your house, your job for those that go into offices. And then we used to have places like bars or coffee shops or like all these places that we would go and meet up with people, but we don't really have those anymore because we can't afford them. They're too like uncomfortable. Like we've kind of developed this weird thing, and movie theaters were one of those, and people don't want to do it anymore. They don't want to be around other people. They don't want to spend the money. They would rather, if they're going to see people and hang out with people, they'd rather do it in their own home so they can talk and like actually spend time together than if you just go to the theater and watch a movie in silence or talk throughout it, whatever.
The irony in this is you're probably absolutely right, and I completely believe that. But what's ironic about it is that now, if you wanted to go somewhere and not be around people, the
theater's where to go.
Theater's where to go.
Yeah. I saw. Let's see. There were quite a few movies that I went and saw by myself.
I used to go all the time.
And the year before, and then I started going to this little indie theater in Knoxville. It's a tiny screen place. Super cool. And that one was nice because there were people, but it was so small that like you didn't feel like overwhelmed. And I do think that people are going to miss out on a lot of that theater experience by not going. They're gonna miss, and we've talked about that on the podcast pretty extensively because like you get a whole different feel. A movie can stay in your memory completely different based on just audience reaction alone. And I do think that some people are going to miss that. But like, if I can watch it at home,
dude,
I mean, you are a bit of an anomaly to the typical person though, because of your circumstances,
because of my location and everything. So
I can completely understand why you would be like, man, fuck that.
I say all the time, two of my favorite movie experiences in horror movies were Blair Witch Project in a full theater and Paranormal Activity, because
Paranormal Activity.
Were you alive when the Blair Witch Project came out, motherfucker? Who keeps calling me an old man?
Dude, I was 16 when that shit came out. I know you were
that old.
You were going towards AARP at that point, but like
so that means that you're only like fucking 3 years younger than me or some bullshit.
I was born in 1983, man. I'm 40.
You are only 6 years younger than me. You're not allowed to call me old anymore, you bastard. Because
motherfucker,
I thought you were like solid 10 years younger than me.
We rewind. I thought that you were older than 46.
I'm 40. I'll be 47 in August. Now, why the fuck
Brian,
did you think I was
Brian,
46?
No, because in my brain, I was so blown away by our age gap. And now I'm like, oh, that's an age gap, but it's not.
How old are you?
Guess what?
I'm 34.
Kin was born in 1990. She was born in. So we have a 70s baby, an 80s baby, and a 90s baby.
Born in 1990.
Kin, yes, you were born in 19.
That is kind of cool. We do got 3 decades of different babies up in this bitch.
Okay.
So you're not allowed to call me old. Ken can still call me old.
No.
No. And what are let's be real too. Like, I only go to Alamo Drafthouse because I don't want to deal with people in normal theaters, and you guys can be more fucking talking about that because like a non-Alamo theater that people are on their cell phones and shit is not.
See, I don't typically go to big chains either because the one I like to go to in Kansas City is called the Screenland, and it's on Armour Road, which means nothing to you guys, but it's like this really cool kind of it's been kind of gentrified, honestly, but the area itself is it's a really, really hip area to go. They got this at the Screenland, they got this fucking righteous menu where they make these gourmet grilled cheese sandwiches.
Oh, hell yeah.
They're fucking baller, and they're all named after like various actors. Like there's the oh Jesus Christ, I can't remember all of them, but But yeah, I always get the one that has jalapeno and bacon on it.
Oh, hell yes.
So good. And there's only two screens in it. So yeah, it's a nice small joint. One of the theaters has couches up high off the and kind of off to the side, so you can like bona fide just chill on a couch. They got coffee tables in front of them. You can kick your feet up, watch a fucking movie, just like you'd be in your living room.
See, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, it's a really, really cool place to go watch a movie there. That's where I go watch the vast majority of the movies that I go to. Now, when I had an AMC A-list membership, it was obviously different because for $20 a month, I could watch 3 movies every week. So of course I was going there.
Right.
I mean,
Alamo has that. It's $20 a month or like watch like one movie a day. So
one movie a day?
Yeah.
Who offers that? The Alamo
Draft House. Yeah.
That's rad.
Yeah. But we between that and you go to Costco here and you get you get $100 worth of gift cards for $75 for Alamo, so you can get food for cheaper too. So it's like yeah. But yeah,
we have one. We have one in Kansas City, I think.
And you've never been there?
No.
You old man.
Did you just hear anything I described?
I heard
about how awesome that fucking movie theater was.
Alamo, let me describe Alamo. If you get on your phone, they kick you out. They have chairs that are fucking recliners. They have a little desk in it. You order burgers or fucking pizza or drinks, all that stuff. The Alamo is basically the same thing, but fucking cooler, because then they play cool shit beforehand. Like you go watch X there. When I watch X there, they play old 70s porno trailers.
They do
shit
the same
like
thing at Screenland.
So like it's like that, and they kick people out if you get on the phones.
Well, they do that at the Screenland too. So
yeah.
They do that at AMC also. They do that they do that at AMC if you pick your phone up, because they're fucking scumbags.
When did I see all the other theaters? I thought there were like people sit there on their phones like tweeting during.
No, AMC they've cracked down pretty good. So is B&B.
I don't even know what B&B is.
It used to be called Dickinson.
So the only ones around here are Regal and AMC. Are the only
Regal
chains.
and B&B, I believe, are the same company.
Okay.
I think I could be wrong.
I think that the movie experience and that's kind of been the point I've been trying to make a lot of this fucking episode, is that like it's not worth like all the shit if you're gonna go in there and have people ruining the movie experience for you, or
I mean, I can understand that. Yeah.
Whatever. Like I think that the people like us who are in there and like very tailoring our experience, like going to very specific theaters, so you don't have to deal with this. Most people who are just like casual movie fans are going to just like, I'm going to wait for it to go on streaming so I don't have to deal with people's bullshit. And it costs me $10 for the streaming services for the month and not $40 for the tickets plus like whatever. Like,
yeah.
Like Pixar movies have been a shit show since COVID because of fucking like the whole thing with them putting on the streaming directly and people are just like, oh, just wait. And it's like you've had really good, like, Pixar movies that kind of get shit on.
Yeah.
And so it's like all that shit is just like, it's a lot of things. And so like I think that even this is like, I don't know, is the casual movie experience like being ruined for the masses, because like go back to 2022, all those really high quality horror movies that came out. I think 2023 went down a little bit in the quality of movies, like whatever, but like we're in May already in 2024 and nothing has done shit in like immaculate and fucking people shit on Night Swim. I didn't think it was great,
I liked Night Swim,
but I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was
yeah. You two are literally the only two people that I've ever heard say they liked that movie.
I'm
so glad somebody finally said they liked it, because I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, no, we both enjoyed it, and it wasn't like a masterpiece, but it's like it's the thing where like it wasn't like a PG-13 horror movie that felt like it was a PG-13 horror movie. Like it felt like it was like it had heart and stuff like that. That thing is great, but we both dug the movie. Like, and it's like, I don't know, man. I just think that like stuff like this, like Lisa Frankenstein, I think that like when it came to like
it's fucking loud.
Yeah, it was like Brian's got pussy shots being shot to him like at fucking the
dick
middle of the
pics.
podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, dick pics. Okay.
I collect dick pics.
Okay.
All right,
I'll
get
keep,
it fucking right.
I'll keep sending them, Brian. But like,
thank you.
This movie felt like the only people who like this was like
Zoom
it
in next time.
felt like another. I don't need to zoom in, dude. I'm notorious, as Ken will tell you, how I have the
This
biggest,
is true.
I have the biggest dick
know.
on Twitch, but that's besides the point. But no, it's one of those things where it's like when they take these movies and they put them in theaters and they put them in the theaters like 2 weeks or a month and don't give them time to actually, kind of get the credit and get there going.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, what's the point? I mean, dude, like, what it's gonna it feels like by the end of this year, like the biggest movies this year, like financially, are things like Spider-Man and like they're bringing. I know the Phantom Menace was just like put back in theaters.
Yeah, that thing made $8 million.
Yeah, and
It's
enough
wild.
to make
that movie is not good.
No, it's by far the worst Star Wars movie. And
you man, you might be right. I might agree with you.
That made enough money to put it in the top 50 movie like earnings of all time again. And so it's
I think
it
was number 3 in domestic. It wasn't it? No, I think it was number 2.
Enough to make it that they put it back in the top 50, like I said.
Yeah.
So of all time again, it's just this weird thing where I think we've kind of like stoked around, and we should probably go and talk about the movie better for a couple minutes. But like, this movie deserved to make way more money than it did, and I agree. It's that thing where, dude, I feel like we've been saying that a lot, Ken, as we've been diving into these like 2024 horror movies. Immaculate was like that, and fucking, it's just like, what are we doing, man? What is like, and like you're talking about the Fall Guy. It's just like it's been a weird.
Nothing is catching on for some reason, and I think that some of it is people have gotten so used to franchises that a new IP, a new flagship movie, or anything, something that's just in and of itself just doesn't stand a fucking chance this day in this day and age, and it's kind of sad because I think that and honestly, I blame Disney. I blame Marvel. That 10-year stretch. Don't get me wrong, man. Like that fucking 10-year stretch of the battle between like the Avengers and the Thanos dude, like that was all fun. It was fun. But honestly, I think that formula and the has created and it has imbued a need for connection in people's desires to watch film. It's unhealthy for the box office because now people just all they fucking want to see is, oh, if I watch this movie, fucking Iron Man might show up in the post-credit scene or some stupid shit like that. Everything fucking needs to be connected, and that's why Universal tried to launch a dark universe. They failed spectacularly, but they tried. I understand why they tried though, because I think they saw the writing on the wall. Look, the only movies that fucking make money these days, it seems, are fucking superhero movies or connected franchises. Yeah. Fast and the Furious 36 when it comes out in fucking 2093, when Vin Diesel still fucking looks exactly the same. I don't know how he does it, but he does. That's gonna make a fucking $1 billion.
Okay, so now you bring that up,
or the equivalent of such in 2096.
We're sitting there in a movie in a year of 2024, the year of our Lord 2024, and we haven't had a Nightmare on Elm Street. We haven't had a Friday the 13th. We haven't had we haven't had a Texas Chainsaw in the theaters for a decade, right? Like, I mean,
because Leatherface didn't go to the theater.
Yeah, and
at least, and if it did, it was very limited.
Yeah, we haven't had a Chucky in theaters since
the Child's Play reboot.
I mean, okay, but Seed of Chucky for the mainline franchise, right? So like,
right, yeah, correct.
So all of these really, really big horror franchises that started back in the 80s and that aren't doing, these things, like a lot of, we have a Saw 11 coming out, dude, and I'm sorry, I will fucking die in the hill that Saw Saw X was so overrated. I enjoyed the film, but the it's that shit where I feel like people are getting fucking jacked on shit that doesn't make any sense to me in fucking 2024. Because as the people are like, Terrifier 2, I've come in my pants, and then like the same thing with Saw X, where the movie was fine, but like, oh my god, it's so good, it's like it's.
I understand where you're coming from, but if you're and I guess you're probably referring to the fact that it had like what a 90% or some shit like that on Rotten Tomatoes or something.
I had people.
That just means 90% of the people that watched it, the critics that watched it, said the exact same thing you did. Oh, it was fine. It's good.
Yeah.
And they gave it a prize. Yeah. So it is misleading when you see that.
But people sit there going, it's the best Saw movie. I'm like, that movie couldn't hold the jockstrap of Saw. And none of the movies in that fucking franchise could hold this jockstrap of Saw. Saw is so far enough above the rest of the fucking movies in that franchise that every time people are just like, and then like getting all jacked.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The first one is by far. But with that being said, I have actually not seen Saw 10 yet. I haven't seen it yet.
I think it's.
I didn't care for Spiral though. I thought that was fucking stupid.
I hated Spiral.
Spiral.
Hated Spiral. So much.
We talked about that in this podcast. Spiral was the most. I called the killer in that movie faster than I've ever called a killer in any fucking horror movie. But like, it's all these things where like we sit there and we have this movie. God, we're gonna talk about Lisa Frankenstein for about 5 minutes. But like, it is a thing where like this movie is original. It takes the name Frankenstein but it's not a Frankenstein movie. It just takes that kind of concept. It takes that name because in like homage to everything. But like, why are these things that are fucking high quality shit doing things that like are? But let's go. Okay, I don't want to. I mean, you mentioned the First Omen earlier. First Omen. Not exactly a beloved franchise outside of like horror fans, right? Like people, the Omen is a great movie, but like, other than that, it's not been gotten a lot of attention for a long time. It's a weird thing, like where a couple years ago we had all these really new cool things like Black Phone and fucking Barbarian, two of my like favorite movies the last 5 years.
I know you guys like Barbarian.
Dude, Barbarian is great. You could blow me until the end of time.
I did not care for it. I thought it was okay. but that movie.
Listen, but let me ask you: did you go into it knowing anything about it?
No, not really.
Yeah, I didn't either, and I loved it. But like,
I wish I loved it, but the movie to me was just filled with this massive fucking plot hole that bugs the shit out of me, and I wish that I didn't catch it, but I just don't.
The plot hole for Brian was why no one was titty fucking the mama. He wants to know, and he did like nobody's titty fucking mama, and he doesn't. Okay,
because she doesn't give purple milk.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go. Okay, I'm cutting off this.
Let's talk about Lisa Frankenstein.
Can I throw a couple things in? Just a couple trivia notes. Okay, so one of the things that I don't know if you guys caught it, I caught it immediately, is when she screams like whenever Janet's getting back home, her stepmom, and she's like, "Damn it, Janet!" I immediately was like, "I love you.
I love you."
Yeah.
I just bought the Rocky Horror Picture Show soundtrack on vinyl.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot you just bought it. Yeah. So for those of you that haven't seen Rocky Horror Picture Show, I can't say a lot because I haven't watched a lot of like, great films, but you should watch that and appreciate the entire thing.
I haven't watched that movie in 30 years. I don't think it's been a long time.
Get your shit together.
Oh, we need to do that for an episode.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
No, we already have next week because Ken's never seen Ready or Not.
Oh, wait, I thought we were doing Abigail next week.
We could do Abigail next week too.
Okay.
We're gonna do talk about both of those movies.
It's our double feature.
Well, okay.
We've talked about 14 movies in this podcast.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ken.
Oh, there's a lot of really cool stuff. There's two police officers in the film, Officer John and Officer Waters. Nod to the King of Camp, John Waters.
Yeah.
My thing about this was whenever she had him get in the tanning bed to get shocked the first time, I squealed. I was so excited. I don't know why, but like for whatever reason, that just tickled my brain in the best way possible. Like when she got on it and got shocked, I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, whatever. But when she had him get in there, I was like, because apparently there are people in this world who don't know shit about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and Frankenstein monster and don't understand like the bolt's significance and everything. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's a very good, it's an homage, but not, like I said, it's not,
It's great because it's like more modern, but even then, dated because 1989.
Right,
but
right.
It's still, it's so great.
I'm a sucker for anything 80s aesthetic.
So
that's
another
everything
thing
about this movie is so appealing to me because
the colors, the soundtrack, which they did
the soundtrack, girl.
Oh my God.
See, I'm a sucker for a great soundtrack. And I've been looking for this on vinyl, and I did find it. And unfortunately, the soundtrack doesn't have every tune on it, but it's just fine. But I'm still buying the motherfucker.
The Spotify playlist soundtrack is laid out so great because it does a classic song and then like a rock song and then a classic song, like in the order, the way the movie does it, but it's so well done. And I turned it on and was just like, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you. Please. Please and thank you.
Dude, the covers they have in this movie like are fucking fantastic. Like the whole soundtrack is just like wonderful, right? Like, and I can keep going. You get excited, and Brian and I have been like
derailing the fuck out of you, unfortunately. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say the colors and the lighting in this. I wish Josh was here to discuss that because, like, I feel like he would have come all in his pants over just the lighting in this. Maybe not because he's more of like the artsy side, but I loved the art. I loved the color. I love the little things. I'll be honest with you. If I was in like high school and saw this, I 100% would be drawing a lightning bolt on my wrist with a Sharpie or on my hand.
Was I the only one watching this who kept thinking of Beetlejuice too? Like, especially when she starts dressing all gothic, like when she starts wearing her
she was definitely putting off some Winona Ryder vibes from the God dang, what the hell is her
How old is
name?
that? How old is that woman that played the main
Winona Ryder?
No.
Right now?
No. God damn it. The chicken Lisa Frankenstein.
Catherine Newton. She's like 25, 26.
Okay. She pulls off the being a high schooler better than the guy who got his cock cut off, but yeah. What? The poodle comes and sits next to me and then stares at me and demands treats. She's like, Daddy, I would like treats now. Ken, what else? I know there's more things you wanted to say over there, Ken. So I wanted to make sure you got all your stuff out before we wrapped up.
There was just, in my honest opinion, this movie was great. I hope that it becomes a cult classic down the road. I would like to feel like it would. I'm really excited to see more work from Zelda Williams. There's a lot of like back and forth regarding Zelda Williams directing. A lot of people really liked it. As far as her directing, there was now I remember. There was a whole thing that of don't you start, buddy. I see you. Sorry, my cat wants attention. There were a lot of people that were talking about that, like maybe the way that they saw the movie going as they were watching it was that the creature was more of a self-reflection of her and like her own projection as like she started to take her power back over time because she went from not speaking to and being shy and meek and a pushover to like slowly getting that bit of her back. And it seems like she's speaking more. She's kind of coming out of her shell. She's being more, for herself. And they were like, we expected her to just realize he wasn't real, like, that this has been all some type of illusion. And they were disappointed that that wasn't the case, which is a great sounding movie. But no. great sounding movie, absolutely.
Well, dude, I mean, I think that you could have a comparable movie in Frankenhooker, like that. I mean,
I haven't seen that in so long.
Dude, I watched half of it and zoned out like a couple, like probably 6 months ago for the first time. Complete, but it's the same concept, like but backwards, right? Where like the guy does something and then like makes this thing to put his girlfriend back together, and it's kind of got that same kind of like Frankenstein feel, right? And but it's that thing where like when it's that weird, you know, and I'm okay with this because it makes me laugh, but like when a guy does something in a movie, and I kind of brought it up earlier, it's looked at differently as like I mean, we were talking about what teachers doing, women doing shit, fucked up shit in real life, and comparing to men doing fucked up shit, and how men doing fucked up shit gets way more attention. Rightfully so. Men have been doing fucked up shit for the history of human beings.
We're kind of fucking shit bags.
And we deserve it. But like it's always an interesting thing where like you have this thing where like I said earlier, if this was a man and like if it was like Bob Frankenstein doing these things in this movie, I don't know, it would have been way like shit, because if a guy's fucking a dead body, it's whatever. But if a girl, it's that weird oddity of a lot of these things. And I think that like, I think movies coming out like this and like kind of empowering women, I am completely for. Like that's like Diablo Cody, like her, that's like all her stuff is really like empowerment of women. I mean, that's what Juno was.
Yeah,
and a lot of
she's
stuff.
Written a lot of really, really cool stuff. Like, you know, she's an uncredited writer for the Evil Dead reboot that came out in 2013.
I have a question for you guys.
What's up?
Mm-hmm.
This movie was rated PG-13. Do you think that it would have been even better if it had an R rating?
No, because
I agree. I think it would take a lot of the like, not cuteness, but a lot of the kind of like dark bubblegum feel to it.
It's got that Beetlejuice. It was not the first time I mentioned Beetlejuice. It's that Tim Burton kind of feeling. I thought this had an R rating to it, to be completely honest. I mean, it even has her fucking like coming to the massage thing from like, you know, whatever, but like but they don't. That was probably the laughed out hard the loudest when she comes and her dad's like, huh? Because she's like, oh,
well,
God!
He'd never heard that before.
Yeah. Dude,
ever.
Dude, why do you think that bitch was so cranky and wanted to lock up?
Carla Gugino. I want to talk about how good she is in this movie, because she's good in everything, but we don't get a lot of opportunities to see her in a villainous role.
Yeah,
she's so fucking awesome in this. I hated every second of her face. Like, and that's hard to do.
I love her
because she's beautiful. Yes, I love her to death. I love everything she's done.
Dude, she was,
including this, and she's such a bitch in this fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
When she's like, I kind of get like a lot of her outbursts earlier in this film, but what like the whole she's gonna lock up the girl, because she's got. Let's be real, Lisa Swallows, which by the way, I don't know, I think I mentioned it's the best name ever, but like
it is a great name.
She's like smashing her Hummels. Like, which like back in the 80s, Hummels. My mother still to this day has Hummels sitting there. They're worth like probably a lot of money, and smashing her Hummels, and everybody's like, and she's like Lisa's kind of a bitch about it, and because she's not like telling her what really happened, and you're just like, man. But that fucking the scene where she gets murdered, you're just like, you're sitting there going, but like, you're talking about locking this bitch up and like saying all these really mean things, and it's like, I kind of understand she's like this, but like you're crossing the line over to being a cunt, and like that's why you got a sewing machine up on top of your head, and I don't know, man. It's just like that stuff is just like, it's one of those. It's like all that stuff in this movie where like you just kind of like it's that. Ken, you pointing out it was PG-13. I didn't even. Like I said, I had no fucking clue. It that makes it even more feel like a Tim Burton movie. Like it, the kid being dressed up like Johnny Depp is, you know, like makes even more sense now. And like, yeah, wow, it feels like an R-rated movie. Like it doesn't feel like it feels like that weird like thing of like streaming movies that don't really have ratings anymore. Like we talked about.
Oh yeah.
So one of the things we talked about, I don't know if you listened, Brian, when we talked about Cobweb, where Cobweb was like one of those weird movies where it's like PG-13 or like for the whole movie, and then like they were like, no, look, we need gore and bad CGI monsters at the very end, and this movie just is like that, doesn't do that, where it's like just like that PG-13 kind of movie the whole time. I still don't get how he started talking again because he didn't get like. When did he transition to be able to talk? That's the like that last scene where he's like reading to her when she's all wrapped up because she got like whatever. When did you learn how to talk? That's what my next question.
I don't know. That was my question. And then my other question is, of all the ways for her to die and then be brought back, catching on fire seems like a poor choice. I don't know. Well, she probably planned on just being electrocuted to death, but
yeah.
You know, how do you like, for him, they were able to cut off a hand and reattach it. They were able to cut off an ear. You can't just skin. I guess you could skin someone.
You go to Arby's and you get a roast beef sandwich.
Yeah. Well, you'll notice that every time she shocked him in the thing, like
he improved.
Part of him grew. It like obviously, yeah, the hand, you had to replace all of that, and you had to replace things that were gone. But I feel like if it was there, it was like it was being reborn because he started to develop them awful, fantastic mutton chops. Everything like that?
Where did he put her back in? That fucking thing burned down.
I mean, there's other ways to electrocute people.
I think pretty much every tanning bed sold in the 80s did that.
Yes.
So they probably just went a few blocks down and found another one.
Okay. I have to say the other thing that this movie reminded me of, well, before we wrap up, this movie reminded me of Under Wraps, like for the first, like the Disney Channel movie, where it was like the.
I don't know what that is.
So Under Wraps is about a bunch of kids who like accidentally wake up a mummy from a museum, and then the mummy's wandering around. And the early scenes of him wandering around the house were like very much remind me of that.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
The only reason I know is because of my ex. That's the only reason I know about that things. Okay. But which they've actually then they rebooted it because that's how old the original was. I think the original was from the 90s. I don't know. That's just reminding me of. Okay. Anything else that we want to talk about before we wrap up?
I just want to point out that people on Reddit are talking about how bad the soundtrack is, and those people are stupid. I don't typically say that about people, but those people are stupid.
They stupid.
And the Reddit crowd sometimes,
We were talking about, you missed it last week, Brian, because the Reddit crowd was very angry. You go to r/Catholic or whatever. They were very, very upset about Immaculate. And Brian, I kind of want you to watch Immaculate before we do another episode and tell me.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah. But because Immaculate is, whoa, that is. What I heard someone talk about, it starts off very much like the first Omen, but the ending of that movie is fucking wild. But yeah,
I've been wanting to watch it. I really have, and yeah, like I said, I wanted to come on to talk about it last time, but I was just unable to.
You were at Monday Night Raw. You were going and
I was doing the yeet. I was yeeting when Jay Uso came out. Yeah, I was yeeting.
Okay, kid. Yeah. Anything else you want to bring up with us before we go?
No.
I want to kill everyone that says that the soundtrack was bad. I bet there's all
the
fucking
soundtrack is so good.
Stupid. What's the generation after millennials? Anyone saying that is probably the ones after that.
Z? No.
Is that X or I don't fucking know.
No, X is before millennials. Wow. I can't. It's Z.
Z. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Brian?
No. Thanks for having me on.
Of course.
Thanks for coming back, and you'll be back next week. Yeah.
Thanks for the open invitation. I'm just gonna start dropping in every Monday. I'm just basically telling you guys right now that I'm just officially part of the podcast.
Yes. Okay, Brian. Works for me.
That's how I came on.
Yep. That's how Ken. And then we were like, Ken, you're official. So let's then do Abigail, and then I guess we could do Ready or Not after that because Ken's never watched Ready or Not. But because there is a very much reoccurring death in both of those movies were that like
anything by Radio Silence. I take it, is that what you're kind of getting at? Because I'm looking forward to watching Abigail a whole lot now.
You've seen Ready or Not, right?
I own Radio. Yeah, I love it.
The you know what happens at the very end of the movie?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then you'll understand when watching Abigail, because what happens at the end of that movie happens repeatedly throughout this movie. Abigail, so yeah,
fuck yeah.
So we will watch Abigail next week, which is on demand starting tomorrow, which is the 7th of May. So, yes, okay, so go watch that. Brian, plugs.
You can also catch me every other Monday on the We're Gonna Make You Watch podcast, where me and my buddy Isaiah introduce my best friend Warren to horror movies that he's never seen.
What's the latest?
The latest one we just recorded was we made him watch Prom Night, actually.
And why did you do that?
Because I want to make him watch Prom Night too.
Okay.
And you have to get through.
No,
sometimes
you
have
don't.
to. Hey, sometimes you have to live through some rainy days in order to appreciate the sunny ones, Rod. Okay?
You maybe, but those movies have nothing to do with each other. Nothing to do with.
They are both called Prom Night. One of them is Prom Night 2. Okay, so they definitely have something in common. They both take place at Hamilton High School.
Dude, Prom Night. That movie is
so boring.
Boring.
I do not. Boring. And he didn't hate it. It was very funny. He didn't hate it, but he said the same thing. He was just like, dude, nothing happens for like a fucking hour in this movie.
Between that and
you're basically watching what I described as Fast Times at Ridgemont High without the awesome comedy.
Yeah, it's with really bad disco music.
It's disco slasher. Yeah.
Between that and Terror Train, I'm just like, Jamie Lee Curtis was in some fucking shit slashers right on that point, man. Yeah. Jesus Christ, she was in some
It's funny because you forget, because she's had such a long career, but you forget that for like the first almost 10 years of her career, she did so many fucking horror movies.
Dude,
it is nuts.
Dude, and all the ones that get credit, while The Fog gets no credit, and that movie's fucking bomb.
Dude, The Fog is probably one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah, that movie.
Not to be confused with Fog City.
Fog City, Fog City, bitch.
Fog City, bitch.
Brian, you don't ever want to watch that movie because Josh was like, "Let's watch Fog City." Oh, the only good thing about the movie are titties. The only good thing.
There's nice cars, but that's where the entire budget went, was running those cars.
Ken has continue.com while she's building a peasantville of in the her manor. What's that game called? Manor
Lords, but just as a heads up, it is early access and it has memory leaks to the point that my computer crashed during the stream today. But it's still a kick-ass game.
Was that what made your computer crash? Was the memory? Oh, Jesus Christ. So go watch Ken at twitch.tv/continue and go to continue.com and find all our stuff. I'm on Instagram and Twitch at Rod_Johnson, and you can buy my book on Amazon, The Death and Rebirth of Your Human Heart. So go pick that up and go do your shit. And I think that's about all. And we will do Abigail next week. And if for some reason that doesn't happen, we'll watch Ready or Not. But I think it will be Abigail. So we love you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming back, Brian. And we'll catch you soon.
All right.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.